Hello sewing people of the internet. This video is part 2 of a 2-part series on how to evaluate a vintage sewing machine that maybe you picked up from a thrift store or garage sale, or maybe somebody gave to you. The subject of this video is this Singer 401A. This video isn't specifically a review of the 401A, but you should get some information by watching this video. Before we continue, just really quick, I want to again ask if you're able to please contribute to the fundraiser I'm doing for the Cancer Foundation of the Florida Keys. I'm doing a fundraiser as part of a 50-mile run that I'm doing in May, and it's coming up really quickly. So if you're watching this in real time, if you've been thinking about donating but haven't done it yet, please don't wait. I'm not very close to my goal, and I really need your help to get there. So any donation that you are comfortable making would be really appreciated. And for those of you who have donated, thank you very much. All right, let's check out this machine. So this video is not going to be an in-depth exploration into the Singer 401A. I know this machine by reputation. It's supposed to be a pretty decent machine. It's one of the slant series of machines. The presser foot comes down at an angle instead of straight up and down. And that's supposed to provide better view of the work as you're sewing. But when I have more time to get to know the machine better, I'll try to do a review of the machine itself. This is more of kind of things to look for when you get a machine of unknown condition. If you're buying a machine from a thrift store or a garage sale, or getting one, that's being given to you by a friend, I encourage you to try the machine if you can. Because this one was given to me, I didn't bother with that, and it's not like I needed it. I have plenty of other machines. But if you're actually spending money on the machine, I would strongly recommend that you plug it in, make sure at least that it turns on and the motor works, even if you aren't able to sew with it at that time. Another thing that I strongly urge you to do is pull the rectangle of knowledge out of your pocket and Google the machine if you can find out what model it is. This one has the 401A on it, so you know that's what it is. A lot of older machines don't have anything to indicate what model it is, but if you can figure it out, you may learn that the machine, has a flaw that's known that maybe you want to avoid, or maybe it's not the right machine for you. So definitely do a little bit of quick internet research before you buy something, particularly depending on the price. If it's cheap enough, who cares? So looking at this machine, looks fine, looks like it's in decent condition. It was under a cover, that's a good sign. I'm met with yet another straw here, and I have no idea what this is. The pin that you would put a spool of thread on to wind the bobbin. No idea why the straw is there, but anyway, this machine has some embroidery cams, which we saw in the parts, so you can change these cams out and get different sewing patterns. That's not something I use a lot, but it's nice to have, I guess, if you want to experiment with different things. It's an aluminum case machine. It's basically all metal. I don't know if the 401A has any nylon gears in it or not. I think it's old enough that it might not, but I'm not sure. So before I do anything else, I'm just going to see if I can turn the machine over by hand. And well, I was going to say no, but now it started to turn. There's a broken needle in the needle bar. I actually just noticed that looking over here as I was trying to see if it would turn over. And it's bent. You can see where it's bent, so that might be why the machine was put away. Maybe something broke as a result of the needle strike, or the needle strike is an indication of something being out of adjustment. We'll see. Let me put this in straight stitch. Yeah, it seems to turn over okay now. It has a zigzag foot on it, so no worries of the needle striking the foot. Another thing I like to do is just, check all the controls and see if they work. Whether I know what they do or not, at least I can kind of tell if they are freely moving. This dial is for the embroidery cams, and I think may also function as the needle position, so I'm guessing this A, B, and C are the needle position. So that should be in the center. So everything seems to work there. Now I'm going to plug the machine in and see if it powers on, find out if the light works, and then we'll try sewing with it. Just want to point out on this machine, there's a fold down knee lever. This is to operate the machine with your knee instead of your foot. This is not a knee lift. I did a video about that. I'll put a card up for that if you're not sure what I'm talking about. The pedal was sitting in the pan underneath the machine, and it seems like with this model, often with a sewing machine, the pedal and the power cord are one unit. This seems to be wired directly to the machine, and the power cord is a separate thing. So I like to carefully inspect the power cord to make sure that there's no nicks or cuts in the housing or anything else that might cause a shock. This is old stuff and could be dangerous. If you don't feel comfortable evaluating the condition of these components, I would strongly recommend finding an electrician or a sewing machine repair shop or someplace that can advise you on the safety of this stuff. And I would always be cautious, especially with other people around. You may know that maybe I don't want to grab the cord here, but someone stepping on it or picking it up to move it may not know that. So, but this seems okay to me. Interestingly, there's 3 holes in this receptacle. There's only 2 pins on the machine. I don't think that matters, but maybe because the pedal is integrated or something, I'm not sure. All right, it's plugged in. Again, I'm not an electrician. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I like to maybe give the machine a tap with the back of my hand. I've been told by an electrician that grabbing something, if you get a shock, especially in the US, we use 110 volt, there's a tendency that you may grab on instead of letting go. I don't know if any of this is true, but this is the reason why I do it this way. So I just use the back of my hand to tap it a couple times. In case there's a short that's going to cause me a shock, it'll shock my hand, but I won't get stuck to it and die. Everything seems to be okay. I don't know if this machine has an on-off switch or not, so I'm just going to step on the pedal and see what happens. Okay, apparently not. There we go. Definitely suspect it could use some oil, but it seems to work just fine. There's a light here. Oh, yeah, there's a light switch underneath, and the bulb works. One of the cool things to me about vintage sewing machines is that often these were highly cherished items by the people who used them, and they were well cared for. And then for whatever reason, they got put away. Maybe the person lost their interest in sewing or wasn't physically able to sew anymore or whatever, and no one in the family had any interest in it, so there was nobody to pass it down to, and they got put away. But it seems like every time I encounter an old machine that's just been sitting forever, I plug it in and turn it on and it works. So I'm going to change out this needle. I'm going to go ahead and lubricate this. I don't know anything about this machine, so I'm just going to kind of guess where I need to oil it and wind a bobbin and see if that works, and we'll see if it sews. I'm not sure what exactly this means. I haven't been changing my foot pressure on the pedal. That change in speed of the machine is either because the lubrication is helping free things up and it's speeding up and then maybe it's binding up again, or maybe there's something wrong with the motor that makes it lose power. I'm hoping it's the former, but we'll see. that seems more like it. Definitely need some grease on these gears. I'm not sure if I have any grease here or not. Alright, let's see if we can figure out how to wind a bobbin on this machine. I'm going to get rid of the straw for now. This is the bobbin winder. It looks like it just swings up to make contact with the hand wheel here, and I just put probably a spot of oil on it, and that's not going to be good, but we'll see how it goes. As I said, it's not a good idea to use this thread that came with the machine for projects, but just to test the function of the machine, might as well use this rather than thread that I would use. I have no idea how this is supposed to go, but I'm just going to reason my way through it. There seems to be a thread guide. So there's a thread guide behind the bobbin winder. Looks like it goes from underneath, maybe. Get that out of the way. Nope. Maybe we have to go through it. That's really going very, very tight and difficult to get on. Okay. Not sure why that is so tight. This plastic bobbin was in the machine. I'll see if it goes on any more easily. Oh yeah, that slides right on. Could it be that we have a bunch of bobbins that aren't for this machine? Yes, it could be. I suspect that this person owned a Singer 20U. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that looks a lot like a... I say a 20U. I think this might be a Class L bobbin, but I think I have some other machines that use these. So, okay, now let's try winding a bobbin. There's a good lesson there, by the way. If you're really having a fight with something, you might want to stop and figure out if you're doing the right thing before you break something. We'll see if the clutch disengages. Yeah, nice. I hope I didn't oil up the bobbin winder tire too much. There we go. Sorry if you can't see this, I'm trying to hold pressure on the lever here. That seems to be doing the trick. Now it's kind of winding it pretty sloppily. Let me try just doing that without making it visible to you and see if that helps any. Well, I would not say that that did a great job of winding the bobbin, but there's thread on it. We'll see how it goes. If we have any poor performance sewing with this terribly wound bobbin could be part of the problem, but we'll give it a try anyway. I've never threaded this machine before, but I also noticed besides the thread guide that was printed off on a piece of paper in all of the stuff that came with it, there's a threading guide right here on the inside of this door. I've randomly chosen one of the needle, I didn't choose it randomly, I chose one that had one needle left in it, so I can get rid of all this. So I'm just going to do some reasoning here. This is a top-loading bobbin that's in front of the needle, so I'm assuming that the needle is going to thread from front to back. So I want the scoop of the needle to be... Wait a second, let me see where the hook is. That's really what's important. Yeah. So I'm going to put the recess in the needle that allows the hook to pass through on the back side. Yeah. A lot of people think, I used to think that the flat part of the needle determined which way it went relative to the thumb screw, but that's not the case at all. So we've got the groove facing to the front and the scooped out part facing to the back, and I drop the needle. Okay. How to thread your machine with the Jason of all trades. Remember, boys and girls, I'm a professional. Now that I've done that, I just noticed that there's an arrow on the needle plate that indicates the direction. That's something I find often happens if I'm doing a wide zigzag with a short stitch length. If I try to back up, it'll get stuck. That happens with pretty much all the machines I've used. I'd say for a first go, that's pretty darn good. So, as I expected, this machine seems to work basically just fine. It certainly needs some more lubrication, maybe some cleaning, maybe some adjustments. But, I mean, sew's fine, straight stitch is good, zigzag's good. I have no idea about the embroidery stitches, and I don't know if I'll ever even try them. I don't know what my plans are for this machine. I hope that this video gives you some information that you can use when you're either seeking out your first sewing machine or maybe thinking about adding to your collection. Just hopefully will give you some things to think about and look for. And also, you know, hopefully you just found it interesting to see the kinds of things that you might find in a vintage sewing machine. As far as the machine, the 401A, it seems to work as I expected it to. It's not a particularly powerful machine, but it seems to be a capable sewer. So I'll spend some more time with it and see if it merits a video of its own. But if you have information about this machine you want to share, please do so in the comments section. If you have other questions or other comments, you can do that there too. If you like what I do here, you can always support me by buying merchandise from the link. You can buy materials from Ripstop by the roll through the link I have down there. That gives me a little bit of a commission at no cost to you when you buy products through that link. If you haven't already, and if you can, I would greatly appreciate it if you could donate to my fundraiser for the Cancer Foundation of the Florida Keys. That race is coming up in late May of 2022, so time is running out depending on when you're watching this. If you're watching it in real time, please don't wait. Donate as soon as you can. Clicking like is always a great thing to do, and if you're not already a subscriber to my channel, I'd love it if you would become one. Thanks for watching.